this is going to be a quick opinion review of the Stylus Adonit Mini 4. The Adonit Mini 4 is a premium stylus, about 20 bucks on Amazon. It is very good for certain people, but there are a lot of compromises, which may or may not affect you. So, let's see. The main thing to understand about this, first of all, is just how it works. It's a capacitive stylus. It just mimics the touch of your finger. It uses this little clear circular pad to do so. The pad itself is hard plastic, basically, and it is on a ball swivel. This tip is replaceable. The pen itself can post like this. Now, obviously, I won't get into the use of this too much, but rather there are two sets of issues, I suppose. First is with the actual writing experience, and then second is with the just design and reliability. First of all, with the writing experience, there are several things that I find iffy. First of all, you'll notice this interesting design where the quote-unquote cap of the pencil is actually the longer section with the clip. This contributes to an issue with weight, where this tip section has more weight to it than this entire rear section almost. So the balance of weight is very close to this, it's very close to the gap. And that is fine. Like, it's remarkably balanced, but at the same time, just feels quite odd to write with. Then the next thing is, okay, obviously this isn't hollow, by the way. There are some buffers in there to make sure that it doesn't collapse, so it's not gonna completely crinkle or something. The next issue is the repositioning of the tip. Basically, because of this unique tip design compared to something like a rubber ball, if you're in the habit of turning your pencil every now and then, like if you use an actual mechanical pencil or something, every time you want to return to the page, unless you're just holding it at the exact same angle as before, you're gonna have to like do this little move to drop the tip down, which is annoying and can mess up whatever artwork you're working on. And the third and final issue with writing that I have trouble with is the fixed tip size. You might not think this is a big deal, but if you think about a touchscreen, a lot of worse quality touchscreens, or just less sensitive ones like phones, will only begin to sense your finger when you have like a certain size of finger pad on there, depending on how sensitive they are for capacitance. And then because this is a fixed circle, you're gonna run into a situation, even I do on like my iPad Air 5 and iPhone 11 mini, 12 mini, where half the time it won't register because the circle itself is too small. Unlike a rubber stylus, where if it's not registering, you just push harder and then more of the rubber touches the screen and then it becomes detected. You can't do that with this, which leads to a very inconsistent experience. I would prefer it if the circle was bigger, but obviously that would make the pen itself bigger and it wouldn't be the mini version that it is. But I think this is frankly unacceptable. And then now on to just the more general things. First of all, there's this clip. It's not like they're trying to hide anything, but this clip really is pretty useless for actually holding this onto anything. It's well designed in that it keeps the body of the thing cylindrical and you really can't tell there's a clip when you're writing with it, which is nice. However, the trade-off is there's just no gripping power to it, and also because of this weird shape to it, it can really only be used on very deformable objects, such as like your jeans pocket or something, where the fabric can bend to fill that shape. And even then, it's not going to be holding on tightly, so it's more of an organizational thing. In the end, a very limited clip. The next issue that I have real problem with, though, is this rubber. You see, the way it screws on, but the way this screw is tensioned is just with this rubber pushing outwards and making there be friction as you try and unscrew it. Now, there's a problem with this where, for example, I got this just a couple weeks ago, except this rubber here, this rubber ring right here, just from, I don't know, being in storage or just being closed, it's already significantly less, what would you say? It has significantly less volume than the other rubber ring that hasn't been used as much. And so when screwing and unscrewing this, there's very little friction stopping this from just coming unscrewed, which is a serious problem considering that I've only been using this for a couple weeks. It's very easy to imagine that the rubber ring will just eventually get completely deformed, and then it'll be unscrewing itself all the time. The next issue is going to be with damage, where especially when it's posted or when it's capped and it's in your pocket, the outer rubber ring is liable to be ripped or whatever. It is held quite tightly, so it's not gonna, like here you can see I'm using my nail and I can barely push it up, so it's not like it's gonna fall off, but it is just in danger perpetually, which is another annoyance. The final issue is going to be wear. So because this is outside and it's rubber and it's in your pocket, it's going to accumulate all sorts of like fine dust particles and little pieces of sand and whatever, which when you screw it in, the aluminum on the cap is going to rub all of those fine particles on it, which is going to wear it down particularly quickly. And when that's the only thing stopping this from just randomly unscrewing itself at the slightest twitch, just a poor design overall. If I was going to choose again, I would not get this. But if you need a stylus and you absolutely demand that it be clear, then sure, get this, but don't get this version. Go get their actual big version instead of the mini.